Welcome back to the podcast, guys. I'm Byron Lazine, and I am here with Jason Cassity.
What's up?
From Compass here in San Diego.
This was not intended product
No, that was
placement.
definitely intended.
This is what I wore. This is what I was wearing today.
And every day.
So backstory: Byron's here in San Diego right now.
I am here in San Diego,
in
which
my
is
turf.
And how long have we been connected on social? Like
5
on
years,
Instagram or whatever? Yeah.
5 years.
It
6
seems
years,
like for a
something
while.
like
So
that.
like
I've been in the business for 6.5, so 5, 6.
I looked at
early on.
I looked at my text and you were like, I'm in the lobby. I turned around, like I instantly was able to pick you out of the crowd because
Right.
I'm like, dude, I feel like I know you.
Yeah, see, that's how social media works. You gotta love it.
So when I'm here in like anywhere and we're here in San Diego, I'm like, oh man, who are the San Diego peeps I need to reach out to?
Yep.
You were like first one that came to mind,
Nice.
and I'm just super pumped that we're doing this. So I'd love your background story, and you can go as far back as you want on your personal story, and then certainly tie that into how you got into real estate, and then ultimately how you ended up at Compass.
Absolutely. So I was born November 28th, 1985, and about 9.5 months before that. Just kidding. You said as far back as I want to go,
85.
right? All right. Just kidding. So I started off, I moved here to San Diego from Sacramento, about 8 hours north, the capital, California, but completely different world. Moved down here when I was working at Wells Fargo. I was a branch manager. Did it for about a year and a half, and I just didn't like it. I hated it. So I started researching out other professions, got my real estate license, ventured out, and worked as a real estate agent for about 5 years with an indie brokerage down here. And then that was about mid last year. I started to build my team out. And we're up to 7 agents now on the team. And then about 8 months ago, so that would have been August of last year, we joined Compass. And so Compass was still relatively new here in San Diego. Still is. Just had our 1-year anniversary here in San Diego, but it's been no looking back. So we're just now a team of 7 at Compass, rocking in downtown San Diego.
So Compass is the craze in the real estate industry, and they're going to talk a lot about Compass
I'm sure.
here over the next 24 hours.
I'm sure.
Is there something to the craze, or is it just a slicker brand?
No, I think there's a
And I'm jumping right into it.
Yeah,
by the
for
way.
sure.
I'm like getting right at it.
You know what I like about it is I have the ability to kind of remove myself and look at it from a macro and be kind of unbiased, even though I'm biased in the sense because I'm in it. But
well,
I can
biased
see
now, but because of your 5 years at the Indy and
sure, like I'm not a homer for it though too. So it's not like it's the best company because I work there. It's not the case. Like there's growing pains. We're growing really fast. So sometimes the support on the back end seems overwhelmed. You know, the marketing stuff that got us over there. You know, that used to be able to get a turn time of a day or two for custom pieces. Now it takes 5 or 6. You know what I mean? Because we're growing so fast. So it's not like all bells and whistles, but it is a fantastic brokerage. And so I had to ask myself when we joined in too, is that I had never worked at a national brokerage. So I asked some of my colleagues, I said, is this how all national brokers, is this how Remax is? Is this how Berkshire Hathaway is, right? Because I didn't know. I came from an indie brokerage. So to me, it was amazing, but that just could have been a national brokerage thing. And the feedback I've gotten from the people at Compass who came from other national brokerages is no, it's different. And I don't know if that's because, you know, Compass goes out of their way to really say that the agents are our clients. So a lot of the decisions they're doing, the moves they're making are for their agents first, knowing that if they keep their agents happy, the agents will keep their clients happy. That's kind of
any
my
smart
take.
broker needs to take that model.
You think,
Yeah.
right? You'd think. I know a lot of brokerages, I feel like they just kind of throw the spaghetti against the wall and see who sticks, and then they just wash, rinse, repeat, and do it again. Well, Compass has a different take. They actually start with, you know, barriers of entry. You have to have certain minimum thresholds to come in because they want to keep a culture of excellence, I guess you'd say. That might be a homer word coming out, but I think there's a little bit of a different take instead of just throwing everybody in and just seeing who sticks. And then there's the stuff that, you know, I personally like, the branding, you know, the marketing support, the things like that I do like, that I'm a little bit of a homer for. It's been a great move so far.
Dude, I will listen. I've said this to my own broker.
Mm-hmm.
I've said best brand in the industry right now is my own. No, Compass. Right. So I agree with you. I mean, like the branding meaning, but the brand, the slickness of it.
Yep.
There has to be something behind it for it to have longevity. Everybody understands that.
For sure. And there's I love Douglas Elliman's branding. They're newer out here in San Diego too. I think they're about a year, 2 years out. You know, we're only about a year in, but they're an East Coast company that's come out. fantastic branding. Here locally, we have Sotheby's, a Pacific Sotheby's branch. That's fantastic. I love their luxury.
Who's always dominated the locks? Has it always been Sotheby's before?
Out here, Sotheby's.
Yeah.
It's Pacific Sotheby's. Steve Games, the CEO, he was with Prudential. They got bought by Berkshire Hathaway. He went on a little 5-year hiatus on his non-compete, came back, started Pacific Sotheby's, and now he's grown that into the #1 brand here in San Diego.
Do you find people look at Compass and they're like, just luxury, or is it an open brand for every price point?
It's definitely an open brand when you jump into it. But the thing is, and here in San Diego, you talk about North County, Coastal, La Jolla, Del Mar, things like that. That's where your high volume producers are, who Compass tends to go after first. So when we came out, and I say we, but when Compass came out to San Diego, they bought PS Platinum, which was a luxury brand up in Del Mar. And so, of course, then growing from Del Mar into La Jolla into Rancho Santa Fe, all their producers were luxury producers. Yeah. So it had the caveat, or like the thing that, Compass is the luxury brand because we're not in Chula Vista or East County or anything like that. It doesn't necessarily mean we can't be out there. It just, I think that there's a little bit of a perception that that's all we do, because that's all the agents that we've recruited up to this point. Right. And it's probably similar on the East Coast.
What about you personally? Are you dipping into
a mix of both? We have a listing right now for $250,000. We have a listing for $4 million.
Same way we roll.
Yep. So we just listed a place in La Jolla for $4 million, and we're closing tomorrow on a $254,000 listing. We do it all.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And certainly, are you bringing like new agents?
Yep.
Right now, yeah.
Yep. And so Compass, again, they don't necessarily they don't want us bringing in brand new agents, because again, with the thresholds and thing like that. So the agents that I brought into my team have done some deals, but they're not top producers.
Not against. I don't want to say they're against anything.
Correct. Yeah. I don't know how it is outside of San Diego. Not against it, but obviously
they prefer not to bring in brand new. Where somebody like, maybe let's just use KW as the example. They would love to have brand new and get them through their system. For sure. The way they do it, right?
Yep. Exactly. It's a little bit of a different culture fit in that sense. Yeah. You have your KWs, EXPs, Macmillan, or all these companies that seek after new people, and then you've got Compass, which is not necessarily the case there.
EXP's made some noise here, but that's not. Let's
no. Yeah, they're growing a lot too. They're going really fast.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, big time out here. I think they jumped up to number 5 or 6, like on the Real Trends report in just this year. Yeah, or something like that. It was big.
And actually, the list, we've got the list over here too. They're in the top 5 or 6
for sides. I think they do more sides. You know what I mean? And their average price point is $200,000 or $300,000 nationally, whereas a different brokerage might be $700,000 or $800,000. I think they just do more sides, more volume.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's shift away from the Compass talk, because this is not a Compass.
It isn't.
Unless
sponsored by.
I mean, Robert's here.
I don't know. We've been.
He could throw us a couple bucks.
Here's the deal. We don't have a lot of money right now. That's kind of our MO, is we don't like to spend money. Yeah, so I don't know if we could get. I don't know if you can get a sponsorship on this.
Well, I don't think I'm gonna get a sponsorship, but they're spending plenty.
Yeah, sarcasm if you're listening on the audio.
Yeah, 100%. Let's talk a little bit about what's really connected us.
Yeah.
Right, which is that social engaging on, I think it's been Instagram mostly, where we've kind of jammed. How important has that been to building your business?
Big time. It's not exclusive, but it's like number one. I mean, it is by far and away the best thing that's happened to my business. And I think it's because, again, I'm 6 years in the business now. Maybe I came up when Facebook and Instagram were available. I wasn't 15 years ago. It wasn't an option. You had to know how to cold call and door knock and things like that. And that's changed the game.
It was already... They were, Facebook for sure was a mature platform. 6 years ago. Not saying that every mature agent knew how to use it. But the platform, there was people on it. Right. So 6 years ago, it was fruitful.
And it's funny to see, because there's agents here in San Diego that are friends of mine. There's Seth O'Byrne. He's a great agent. He's a friend of mine here at Sotheby's here, and he crushes his social media presence. But he's 15 years in the business, and I'm 6, and so he built his business with Facebook. And I built it more with Instagram. And so to see the engagement I get on Instagram, it crushes, but he crushes Facebook, because that's where he grew his following.
Sure.
And it just in the span of 10 years difference or something like that, to see 2 different platforms. And now we've both, I mean, he crushes, but it's funny to see that. Whereas, the 20-year-old vets, they're not even on social media, but they dominate because they have farm mailers and door knocking and whatever it is.
Are you getting any vets that are like, Jason, like, why are you wasting so much time on Instagram? Like, you're...
Yeah. I mean, in a sense. I mean, but to each their own, right? So like the number one guy in San Diego, or downtown San Diego, is Greg Newman. He's been around. He was in Gary Keller's book, The Millionaire Real Estate Agent, right? So, but he's farmed every building, 10,000 plus homes every month for 30 years, right? So he's set. He doesn't need to jump on social media, but I can't compete with that. I need to find a different way in, right? So for me coming up,
always what I've said too.
I got to find a different battlefield because I'll lose there. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You're not trying to go in and like fight this huge army with your bow and arrow.
It's not gonna happen. I got to ninja it and come in from the backside and hit it through Instagram where nobody else is, or Google AdWords, Zillow, whatever it may be.
Are you buying Zillow leads?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you are.
Yeah. It's gone down since the cost per lead has gone up, especially since PA4, I think, which was in November of last year. I think I saw a little bit of a dip, but it's still 3-to-1 ROI. And as a businessman, if I give you $1 and you give me $3, I have to do that until it doesn't make sense anymore.
What else are you doing? You're buying Zillow leads. You're putting out your own content.
Yep.
On social platforms.
Content's pretty much king for me for the last 3 years. I started vlogging. We're at episode 15 of our vlog. We started doing.
Sam convinced me to start doing it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. You know what it is? Obviously, I think we both follow Gary Vee. We both watch a lot. I mean, if you're in real estate, you see it a lot. And so I've followed the thing that like you can do what they say, but really watch what they're doing. You know what I mean? And so when Gary Vee does it, and then it's different industry, but then he has a one-on-one last year with Ryan Serhant at Agent 2021, and then Ryan starts his vlog. I bet you something was said from Gary to Ryan right there to watch that. And so I'm not watching what they're saying. I'm watching what they're doing. Yeah. And if they're putting their time and money into it, I should probably be doing it too.
I mean, we did it. The first one we did, this is going to be this trip, the San Diego trip is our second vlog. Yeah. Because we're like, okay, it's San Diego. Like we're going to get so much content.
Yeah, for sure.
But we went up to Boston for a one-day thing. I was speaking on a panel. Boston, yeah.
How do you say this company?
Compass. Okay. I don't have any weird accent.
The Philly people say Compass.
When you're from Connecticut, you don't have this weird accent.
Have the accent.
Philly, like Massachusetts people have this weird accent. Yeah. Connecticut, we just talk.
You did say Boston, like with an accent.
Did I?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Well, you're from Connecticut too.
Yeah.
Right? You don't see it.
Yeah. Well, anyways, we went up there, did a little panel, but the whole thing, and I'm like, Sam, holy shit. Like, this highlights everything we're doing. Yeah. So 5 a.m. call. Yep. Boom. It's in my day. Yep. It highlights that. Our marketing company, we had a little lunch with one of our marketing clients while we were up there because she's in that market. Yep. We're talking now about the marketing company. We're talking about the real estate company. I'm speaking. Like, we're doing I don't think we did a podcast lesson, but whatever. Like, all these different avenues and brands that we're building can now be shown in one vlog.
And it doesn't, and this is the key, I think, it doesn't feel like you're selling. You're just documenting what you do every day, right? So when you're talking about reaching out to your sphere, which is where the majority of your business comes from anyways, and then they see that you're active and busy doing stuff every day, it reminds them that you're in real estate so that when they're ready, they call you. But you're not necessarily selling anything to them. You're just documenting what you're doing, but that is selling incognito kind of. You're right. You know what I mean? It's just mind share.
Yeah, now I'm hooked. I'm like, okay, we got to figure out how we can do all the stuff we have to do and add vlogs, which vlogs is labor intensive in terms of the editing and creating the story.
Yeah, if someone follows, so I when I went out to Miami for Agent 2021, I brought my videographer to vlog that.
I wish I knew I was there, by the way.
Were you?
Yeah, I wish I knew you were.
Oh,
there.
I spoke. I was on a panel. Yeah.
Were you?
Afternoon.
Maybe I saw the panel.
Maybe I was afternoon
maybe
panel.
Not.
So I brought my videographer, which is cool. But then that was about, it was 8-9 hours of the day plus 4 hours the night before at the conference. So that was 12 hours. So then to edit it, he had to watch 12 hours of footage and then cut it all out and then probably watch, he probably took him a couple weeks to edit that out. It's not like I have D-Rock and all these guys who do it overnight. Like, it took him a long time. It's labor intensive to edit those. Yeah. But it turns out fantastic. And it's content that I've got forever. It's long form content that I can cut up. So I've got now my speeches or the panels on there that I can use. Yeah. Dude, it's great.
Awesome, man. Yep. What's your number one hack right now that you're finding? Like, for me, IGTV I've found has been really impactful since they changed like the ability to preview it and all this kind of stuff. What's been something over the course of the last, let's say, 3 to 4 weeks or 3 to 4 months that you're like, this is really working?
Instagram story swipe up ads. Yeah. Best thing you could possibly do. So you don't need 10,000 followers. These are just swipe up ads, right?
Correct.
So you go into the Facebook.
0 followers.
Yep. Facebook Ads Manager. You deselect all the placements so that only Instagram stories is left, and then you run your ad to it, to your target. Mm-hmm. I ran a vertical swipe up ad to La Jolla.
I see you doing them.
Yep. Yeah. To La Jolla. That was like, hey, La Jolla, what's up? You break the fourth wall. Hey, what's up? It's Jason Cassity. I have a family looking for a home in your neighborhood. They've seen everything on the MLS. If you're thinking about selling soon or you know anybody who is, swipe up, leave your address. We got 22 swipe ups for $100. Got 22 swipe ups. 2 people left their address. One of them became a listing. $4 million listing. Instagram swipe
$4 million listing.
Yeah. Just listed right now. $4 million on
$100.
a $4.80 CPL or cost per swipe. You know what I mean? And
if I give you 100, will you give me a $4 million listing?
120,000
every time,
all day. Yeah, Instagram story swipe up ads are probably the most underpriced lead generating arbitrage you can do right now. If your target demographic is like 25 to 45, which mine is, you know, I created an avatar of myself and I market to that avatar, and so Instagram stories that's where it is. YouTube pre-roll is also really good if you're looking for branding recognition. The ad that runs before your video, you can target that to a zip code. So if you're farming a zip code, I do market updates and then just blast that zip code on a YouTube pre-roll. And then that's it. So that's more branding. It parlays with my farm piece that goes out, but it's great. I get people at the listing appointments that just say, I see you everywhere. And I know why, you know.
And the competition is fierce here.
Big time.
Dude, check out the rainbow, dude. Look at that.
Look at that.
Look at that. Mid-podcast rainbow in San Diego. Gangster. I knew magic was going to happen
when we got together and you got to
absolutely.
Drop the podcast.
Like, isn't that insane, dude? Does this happen all the time here?
No, but it's raining today. So it's a really light mist, and that's really rare because it's like May. It's not supposed to rain. We do say May gray before June gloom, but like it's pretty rare. It's been beautiful all weekend, and then today it just got rainy
That's pretty
which
ridiculous,
gave us this.
Dude. And I'm like I'm kidding a little bit, but like I really feel like we're on the same wavelengths.
Yep. And
the rainbow is real. I don't know if like Sam was actually able to get that. You were able to get that?
Do you remember? Okay, so you remember where we really met or got to know each other was during Buyer Hunt. Do you remember this when I did the debate show on TV?
Yes. Oh my God.
This,
we
right?
got to recall this story.
You remember this?
Yes, 100%.
Okay, that's where we got into it. So I was debating Greg Haig on about Zillow.
Before it was called Buyer Hunt. It was Stop Zillow campaign. Yes.
Yeah, we did the debate show.
This is absolutely how we
about
connected.
Stop Zillow, and I basically talked about how dumb that was, that everybody said Stop Zillow. I'm okay if you say beat Zillow, build something better, but they were just saying Zillow should go away because of whatever. They were crying about it, you know. And then Greg Haig came out with Buyer Hunt.
Yes.
And then you and Nicole went out,
we
right?
went out.
Yeah, to Arizona.
Because we literally, the first episode of The Real Word.
I remember.
If you go back to The Real Word, which Jason's going to be on The Real Word at some point. Actually, you should come to Anaheim.
I'll be there.
In August.
Yeah.
Nicole will be there, and you'll be on The Real Word.
Is this for CAR or NAR conference
it's for,
or something?
Tom Ferry Summit.
Oh, got it.
In August.
I was telling my team we were going to go out there for that. I just stopped coaching with Tom Ferry, but I love the summit. Dude, it's fantastic.
You're going to,
cool.
If you can do it, we'd love to have you on The Real Word.
I'm in.
So our first Real Word, episode 1 and episode 2 was really all about.
Because then he came on 2, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, we did like a Facebook Live back and, not a debate where like these guys, if you look up your debate.
The boxing gloves.
You guys had boxing gloves. You had a belt, all this kind of stuff.
Yep.
And absolutely, when I saw your debate and I saw what Greg was putting out there, I had just like all these emotions of like, this is what is wrong right now with our industry.
100%.
That people are kicking and screaming. Like literally the problem I had with Greg, and I actually got to know Greg a little bit because I went to his home.
Yeah.
Right? And he's actually not a bad guy at all. He got caught up in this whole like thing. And the people, really I blame it on all the people around him. And I've said this to their faces. Like I blame it on you guys for continuing to feed him to go forward with this. Right? And it's when he started to say, remember when we had the real estate book?
I remember.
That is absolutely what drove me nuts.
Yep, that was my opening argument to the thing. I said yours.
And you crushed him in that debate, by the way, but
he won 55-45. I remember the whole thing. He had his minions, his army vote and stuff like that. I felt like that. Anyways, I remember the whole thing, and then his whole kind of at the end, he was saying, "Well, I've got this thing coming out," but I was like, "Well, what is it? If you have a better alternative to Zillow, I would love to hear it." I'm just talking. I'm living in the real world, and I'm just saying like how we should, kind of play with the whole game. And he said, "Well, I can't tell you about it, but coming next month, I'm going to have a party and we'll release it." And then that's where you came in. You said the same thing on your live, kind of. He challenged you. You talked to him, and then he flew you out for the opening party.
Yeah, first class, by the way.
And then Buyer Hunt dropped, and it was fantastic.
It was.
I don't want to mock. I mean, it's just it's gone now, right?
I don't think it's I mean, literally, we got the app a couple weeks before. I guess it was even on the. I don't even know how it works, but like went in there, and it was like basically if you went to the party, you were free for life, and it's like free. It's never. It was a two app product.
Right, the agent app, and then but see, it was what it was a glorified version of Zillow's Coming Soon feature, which now Compass also has. Compass Coming Soon, where you have to upload pre-MLS, and so that demand or it gets the buyer demand to go there, and eventually buyers will start there and then not go to Zillow.
Anything that's a feature is not a legit company. It's not a legit option. It's not a legit look what happened to Snapchat.
Yep. Their entire thing became Instagram stories.
Snapchat was a feature. And then Instagram said, okay,
we can do that too. And we already have the user base. And so what was weird about it was it's not like Zillow didn't have Coming Soon and then they turned it on and put Buyer Hunt out. They already had it. And I'm like, your app, your feature is something that already exists on a bigger scale. It was weird.
And the whole thing was weird when I was at his home. Like this guy, Kevin Ward, he's a coach or something. He was like, I mean, I don't know how much Greg paid him, or they must be really good friends. But the whole thing was weird because it's like you're really like, does anybody else hear what's going on? You're talking about coming soon. Yeah,
it's coming soon. But the thing it irked me is that I think they raised a lot of money from agents across the nation, and I was thinking to myself Greg is a very nice guy, and obviously I want to make that clear,
and I've made it clear multiple times. Yeah. I really like Greg.
I just think the whole macro thing felt like a scam to me. Yeah. So when I saw people's money leaving their accounts and going to this account, and I was just like, oh, that makes me irk inside. You could be putting that money to something else. Like, that's where I had the rub on it.
Dude,
that's where we met. Well, I mean, I think we had followed each other before that, but like I remember.
But that was like
we were like mutually vested in the Buyer Hunt situation about 2014, 15.
Yeah, and we kind of knew how that was going to play out, but it played out. So let's switch gears a little bit. Who are you? I mean, you mentioned Gary Vee earlier, but in the real estate industry, who are you really closely watching? Who do you really admire that's in our industry, whether they're in sales or in marketing or product or startups?
Yeah, I'm watching Open Door. I think everybody should be in a sense. Like, I don't know, they're not on the East Coast yet, but obviously they're raising.
Not in our market.
They're not here in San Diego yet either, but they're Pacific Southwest kind of is where they're growing and stuff. And they just raised another $400 million from SoftBank, which is our biggest investor at Compass. And so if Compass is big, or if SoftBank's big play is Compass and Open Door, I'm thinking to myself, well, why? What do they see in Open Door? And I see why Zillow Instant Offers and Open Door has a niche in the United States. You know, I see why this could work. It's not going to take over the business, but it's 10%, 15%. There's a niche for it.
You don't see Open Door as a feature? Think about Open Door as Snapchat.
In the sense of iBuyer, right? If you say iBuyer, because Compass, Keller Williams is coming out with iBuyer. Compass will probably have an iBuyer. Every brokerage will have an iBuyer. I wonder if Open Door maybe made it there first enough. I don't know. It's interesting. Will Zillow Instant Offers be enough to put Open Door out? It's an interesting question. So how about we just say the iBuyer feature I'm keeping an eye on? I think Eric Wu and Open Door did it first, so I'm keeping an eye on that. I like Glenn's.
How about any individual? Yeah.
Glenn from EXP. I think it's super interesting what they're doing. It's not for me per se, but I think what they're doing to like the mass market of real estate agents. I think that Keller Williams was so big because of the profit sharing and stuff. And then, so their EXP has another layer to that. And I think they're getting a lot of agents now. So I'm keeping an eye on it. I don't think it's something, you know what I mean? Just because I'm watching them doesn't mean I think they're going to impact me per se. I'm watching those.
Sure. I get that.
Yeah, for sure. And then, of course, Gary Vee, he's the marketing side. I watch, but again, I watch what they do. I don't necessarily listen to what they say. I watch what they do. And then any of the top producers, you here in San Diego, Seth O'Byrne, Kyle Whistle, guys like that have been established for a long time. I watch what they're doing. I always watch what they're doing.
That's super smart, dude. And not being afraid. Well, I mean, you're bringing up two competitors here, like.
Oh, I mean,
right?
In a sense. It's just I'm 6 years in, they're 15 years in. I'm not comparing myself to them. I'm watching what they're doing because I want to get there in 10 years. What it took them 20. You know what I mean? So I can get on that level. And it works nationally too. There's agents across the nation that I study and watch and watch what they do for sure. Yeah.
Now you said earlier you were in Tom Ferry coaching.
Mm-hmm.
You're obviously you're like an open book, dude. You're amazing. You're just so my style, like willing to learn from anybody.
Yeah.
You said you went to another coaching.
Yeah.
What'd you do here?
Yeah.
We're not trying to.
No. We switched. So when
program,
we joined Compass, my old brokerage, my indie brokerage, was a Tom Ferry coach, and it was fantastic. I actually did my Tom Ferry business plan on Tom Ferry's thing, even though we weren't in the coaching. And I pay considerably more for Steve Scholl, who's a performance coach here in LA, actually, but he has a lot of LA and San Diego agents. I'm probably his lowest agent. Like, I mean, he's coaching $100 million agents, which is fantastic.
Just real estate?
Just real estate. He works with Santiago, who's Mauricio's business partner at the agency. He works with a lot of top producing LA, West Hollywood type agents, Stephanie Younger, people like that. And then it's a little bit more mindset coaching. And so whereas Tom Ferry, the 554s and he taught me how to run a Facebook ad and stuff like that, which was fantastic. Steve's more like, why aren't you doing 100 deals this year? Like, what's wrong in your brain to get you, how do I get you from 25 to 100 or something along those lines? And he'll dissect the mindset angle of it a little bit more, which I appreciate.
Well, because there are levels to this.
Oh, big time.
Right.
Yeah.
And so how do you advance a level? How do you skip a couple levels? Yeah. Those are things that I'm always thinking about.
Yep.
And how do I get in front of the people or with the people that have been on those levels? Like like all the people downstairs, right?
Yeah.
Like the 400 CEOs at this event.
Yeah.
Right. They can help you skip a level, get to the next level.
Right. When I came in initially with my business plan, I did 22 deals last year or something. I said, I want to get to 30. And he was kind of like, dude, you could get lucky and go from 22 to 30. You know what I mean? That's not going to take a change in your business to get from 22 to 30. Right. But you will have to fundamentally change your business to get to 100. True, and then he said, what's your real goal? I said 100. He said, well, what you're doing at 22 will not get you to 100. You're going to have to change the way you do business. And now in my mind, I'm doing business like 100 deal a year producer instead of a 22.
You are so right about there's an agent basically in my marketplace. She's been phenomenal. I'm not saying her name, but phenomenal luxury agent. But everybody's like, she just owns this particular town. Mm-hmm. I'm like, she is great. She's fabulous. She always has like one of the highest price sales of the year every single year. But I was like, I gotta just look up her last 15 years. Mm-hmm. And her last 15 years are basically the same year after year after year. Yep. And they're not even that big. It's just that she has these big, like, eye-catching sales, right? And maybe that's by design. Maybe she just wants to do like 10 to 15 deals a year, right?
Totally.
Right? But you're she got lucky a couple times and went to like 22 deals and then back down to 10 and then 15 and you can just have a good year and kind of add a few deals. But for her to go, or anyone to go from 15, 20 to that 100 mark to 250 or grow a team that could do, like Doug, who you just met, 500 deals in a year, that requires different, things in your calendar.
Yep.
You're hanging out with different people.
100%.
Having different conversations.
Yep. 100%. You're waking up. You're going to different networking events. You're doing different. You're farming differently. You're doing social media differently. You're hiring people to do a lot of that stuff for you so that you can do the money-making activities of calling your leads or calling your clients, Whereas before I was worried a lot more about lead generation. Now I figured out how to maybe outsource that a little bit more and focus more on my sphere and following up with those leads. And it just changes the way you think about business. But then you're right too. I mean, it got down to the point where I have to think about going out on a Thursday to a happy hour because then I'm not going to wake up as early on Friday, which is you know what I mean? It actually made me think of lifestyle changes that I needed to do to make the difference to go from 25 to 100.
One decision at night can hold you back. That compounds. You make one bad decision every single week on a night, and you ruin one day of your week, and then you compound that throughout a year.
Yeah, it's big time.
It's 50 days.
Yeah, it's big time.
Yeah. All right, dude. We're gonna wrap this thing up.
Love it.
Give me one piece of advice for you. Started in this business 6 years ago. You had some real estate background with Wells and all this kind of stuff. Like, give us the one piece of advice for someone that's starting over. Maybe it's a mistake you made. A lot of agents watching this, maybe they're in year 1, 2, or 3. Mm-hmm. What's that one piece of advice?
I think if you're a brand new agent, so I don't know if it's first year or something like that, I would say that the worst thing I did was try to go at it alone. I think it took me 3 years to get started instead of getting started right away. I'm self-aware, but I was very egotistical, so I didn't want to work.
I'd love to dig into that a little bit. So many people come into the industry brand new, and they're just like, teams, no.
Yeah.
Solo agent.
Yeah, I'm not going to give away 50% of my commission for nothing, right? But 50% of zero is still zero. So if you do 50%, if you do 100% of your commission, but you only do 3 deals a year, or you jump on Kyle Whistle's team here in San Diego and you do 30 deals your first year, but you did it at 50%, you're in a much better position than you would have been going at it solo. And I think if you can give up the ego for a couple years, all you have to do is go type in your zip code on Zillow, invert the sales, see which the top 5 biggest producing teams are, and go work for one of them first. That's probably the best thing you could do early on, because what is it? NAR statistic, 90% of agents don't make it through their first 2 years. Yeah. That's why. It's because you're eating top ramen for 2 years and you're initially, but if you can get through that phase and that'll help you get on a top producing team, it's the best thing you could do.
That's fire advice, man. That is unbelievable. And I cannot wait now until August. We're going to put them on the schedule.
Love it.
August.
Real word.
The real word. You're going to meet Nicole.
Can't wait.
Super pumped, man.
Yeah, Nicole's awesome.
She is. She is pretty cool.
Good.
And I'm just super pumped we got to do this.
Boom. I love it.
Thank you, Jason.
I love it, brother. Thank you so much.
Hey guys, thanks for watching the video all the way to the end. I really appreciate all your engagement, all your comments, and if you like this content, if you want to see more, please, I've got 2 videos linked up here, or hit the subscribe button so that you never miss a video again.